Going, everybody. Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it's Wednesday here on the show, and you know what that means? We got a lot to talk about here today. Filthy Tom Lawler is going to join us as we get into all of the news. And tonight is the follow-up show to AEW's All-In pay-per-view, their version of WrestleMania. This is their version of the Raw after WrestleMania. And we have a lot of segments. Well, we have 3 segments announced for the show. 2 of them are victory speeches, and then we've got a match. This is the first of, I believe, 6 shows. They're doing a Chicago residency, and I want to talk about that because a lot of people, I've seen a lot online, so I want to address the Chicago residency. So we'll get into that here today. We also have NXT from last night, which was a go-home show for a TNA pay-per-view, which is coming up on Sunday. TNA Slammiversary is Sunday, and the main event is an NXT wrestler defending the TNA title in the main event of a TNA pay-per-view against 2 TNA wrestlers. So we'll tell you about that. There's also a NXT versus TNA women's title versus women's title match where someone's ending up with both of the belts. So that's interesting. And then, of course, we got all of the news, including more on Seth Rollins and Adam Cole and Roman Reigns. And Tony Khan did a big interview talking about a lot of different topics. Goldberg, not happy about everything involving his retirement match. Wait till he finds out about what's going on with Seth. And then Jelly Roll and Siri's getting ready to get surgery. A lot of stuff to get into here today. So we'll kick it off after the break. Wrestling Observer Live. Granny, what's happening? What do we got for the wrestling report here today?
Talk or something.
Talk or something.
So Niven comes in, jumps on Bailey with her overweight body a couple of times, doesn't mind playing dirty, leaves Bailey on the mat in lots of pain. I found this book. It's called Limericks from the Heart.
Is this a Lanny Poffo book?
Let me finish this one. This guy's name is Lanny Poffo. And there are 335 pages in here. Can you guess what it's about?
Smoking.
Oh,
Sean
yeah.
the Wizard.
Have you read it?
We read it every week for about 6 months.
When I first started.
Wow.
Why don't we start reading some questions, and we'll see if we can spur some answers out of Granny. Shall we try?
No, I don't think so.
Let's try.
Then you'll really find out how dumb I am.
Granny, did you know there was a wrestling bear?
No, and I don't care.
All right.
It's a bear that wrestled people.
I still don't care.
Okay.
Is Granny frozen?
Granny, you frozen?
No, I'm ready to read my report.
Your picture is frozen.
It is?
Yeah. Or you're doing a great job as a ventriloquist.
Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, or whatever his last name is. Paul Newman is watching this match. And he's not on Cody's side. What's the matter?
Absolutely nothing. Everything's great.
You know, Cody did say that he was looking for a manager. I think him and Paul Newman would be a...
What a handsome pair.
Yeah. A dashing duo.
That guy's a movie star, isn't he?
Since you're on the phone, why don't we just jump right into your wrestling report and such, and then we'll let you go and we'll do Facebook without you.
Can I lay the phone down and you guys, can you hear me?
You can try. Why don't you give it a shot?
Okay.
Oh, boy. It's going to be a disaster. I can already tell.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. That's all right, I guess.
Go ahead.
No, it's your segment. You're gonna read
us jokes?
or your wrestling report or whatever. I see Granny has now put the phone back up to her ear.
I'm just Yeah, for now.
Do you have the soaps or anything else, Granny, or are we, is that it?
I want to quit for now.
Okay. Well,
No more.
instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Back at the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler's joining us here today. What's going on, Filthy?
Not too much. Packed week as always, never ends. Wrestling last weekend, huge week of fight sports for me this weekend. So,
Oh, yeah, what's going on this weekend?
Dustin Poirier's retirement fight for the BMF title against Max Holloway, UFC 318. Alexander Usyk defends the the undisputed world heavyweight title in boxing against Daniel Dubois. And Manny Pacquiao also fights Saturday. There's a big KSW MMA event in Poland. And like I said, it just keeps going. Never ends. Which, hey, I'm cool with it. Nagoya Sumo Basho's going on right now. Turkish Oil Wrestling 3 times a week. Can't get enough.
Is it really 3 times a week for this Turkish oil wrestling?
Brother, there were like 50 Bas Pelavans head wrestlers going at it today in the 95-degree heat in Turkey.
3 times a week is as many shows as WWE's running. Is there like a Raw, SmackDown, and NXT of Turkish oil wrestling?
No, it's largely the same guys.
Wow. That's a lot of oily wrestling. Well, listen. Tonight is Dynamite. It is the follow-up to the All In show, and
I'm pumped.
hey, it looks like we got Hangman Page is going to open the show with a victory speech. We've got a victory speech from Tony Storm coming up, and then, man, this I thought for sure this Jon Moxley was going to take some time off, but nope. Jon Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler are going to be facing Hangman, Hobbs, and Mark Briscoe. So we're just barreling on through to see what's next. And they are the first of, I believe, 6 shows. It is a Chicago residency. And, you know, I got a tweet today, which I want to read here because I don't respond to these on Twitter at least, but I want to respond to it here because it's kind of funny. This guy here goes, wonder what WBD shareholders are thinking. Do they pay $180 million to see a wrestling by a studio show produced in a ballroom? Imagine if WWE took the Netflix money and produced shows from the PC. Gotta be something with this. Okay, so first off, pretty sure the WBD shareholders are not gravely concerned with where AEW is running tonight. And second, do you realize what, like, you're a shareholder of some things, aren't you, Tom?
I am. I'm a shareholder in TKO of all
TKO,
things.
in fact, yeah. So like, if you're a shareholder in TKO, like, what is your concern where Raw runs, or is your concern about whether or not TKO makes money because then you as a shareholder make money?
My concern is with them making money.
Okay.
If you're also in this situation, if you're WBD, right, your concern is the television ratings and getting advertisements. It's not necessarily how many people are in that arena. Sure, it's better to have more people, but if there's 2,000 people and it's packed and it looks great on TV and it brings in more viewers, more advertisers, that's better than having, 5,000 people in a worse atmosphere that doesn't pay off.
Now, I will say that it is somewhat concerning that they are running a 1,100 seat building that isn't sold out yet for the first show after All In. That is mildly concerning. You should have sold that thing out like instantly. This is the All In post show. But the actual building itself is like I mean, that's an incredible looking building. I don't know how anybody could, listen, we saw when AEW was running large buildings and there was nobody there, okay? We watched that, okay? Then they started moving to smaller buildings, like cool, unique buildings. And yeah, there's less people in the buildings, but dude, it looks way better on television. The crowds are way better on television. I can't see how you can see this as a negative other than, well, if you're running an 1,170 seat building, you shouldn't have only 1,100 tickets sold. It should be sold out. Other than that, I see no issue whatsoever with running smaller, cool looking buildings, packing them, and having a cool reacting crowd.
Brian, I can almost guarantee you one of the talking points after this show tonight is going to be how awesome this place looks. This Byline Bank Aragon Ballroom.
Dude,
it looks like
awesome.
Nothing else you see on TV, wrestling, any sporting event. Really, I mean, we watched guys fight in Spain in out in the street in Coliseum area, and that's pretty wild, but you don't see that on WWE. It's the same thing over and over. It's the same homogenized product. No matter what arena they're in, it looks the same. And AEW separating themselves by running at these cool places is a great idea. I'm telling you, people are going to see the show. They're going to be like, we need more venues like this.
All right. Well, we've also got, we'll talk about NXT later on tonight, which, by the way, also is in a small building every Tuesday. I've never heard concern from shareholders about the small building they run NXT in every week.
No, but you would hear concern, Brian, if they were out on the road and there'd be nobody in the crowd.
Well, sure, of course. That would be a big concern. All right, so Seth Rollins guest hosted the Rich Eisen show this afternoon, and he had an update on his knee. Are you ready for this?
Did he?
He said, I was in Birmingham, Alabama on Monday, but there was too much swelling in my knee, and so in a week or two, I'll be reevaluated in Los Angeles. Hope to have a clearer picture, but I think I'll be on the shelf for an extended period of time. Okay, I still will go with the idea that his knee is not great, okay? He's maybe something needs to be scoped out, whatever, okay? But I am now firmly of the opinion, still, that what happened on Saturday night's main event was a work, and that they essentially lied to everybody and are still lying to people, and that the whole reason, and somebody yesterday, they were like, well, what was even the point of this work? Why was this even done? What was the point? Well, the point is because this story is going to be, and literally he said it here in this interview, the story is going to be that because he was injured on Saturday night's main event, he will be out an extended period of time, and in fact, he will be back sooner than everybody expects to do a cash-in. Now, because I think this has kind of gotten out, I don't actually think that he's going to cash in at SummerSlam, because my presumption is everybody now figures, well, they're going to say he's out for a long time, but he's going to cash in at SummerSlam. That now seems too obvious to me. So I'm thinking that the cash-in will be maybe shortly after SummerSlam and not on SummerSlam itself, but we'll see. You mentioned, Tom, that this was the same knee that he'd injured before, right?
Yeah, I believe it was the same one when he came off the top with a power bomb attempt on Kane, I believe, of all people.
Yeah, he did
years
something.
ago.
But the point is, he explained very much what happened to him at Saturday night's main event. He heard his knee buckle and pop, and then he went down. And I mean, the point of this is he has legitimately, seriously injured his knee before, so he knows what it feels like. He knows the symptoms. He knows the the post-injury swelling and everything. So he can confidently talk as if he injured himself seriously this time. But I think what I can say is, because hey, listen, I'm not a doctor. I'm not analyzing. I'm not in there looking at his actual knee and looking at MRI results or whatever. But I will say, I would bet you dollars to donuts he cashes in long before 9 months to a year. I think that's abundantly clear by what's going on here. I'll just leave it at that. We're going to head to a break. Back in a moment with more news, and then we'll do the NXT report. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. We got a big Elimination Chamber report here. And also Collision from Saturday, which actually was a pretty damn good show in its own right.
I was not told to watch Collision.
Vinny?
I forgot to text him Thursday night. I figured he'd be in bed. I said I'd do it tomorrow. And then Friday I bought a car. I was busy, and I've been forgot. John comes out, looks into the camera, and says, "There's a vibe in here tonight."
Sure is.
I'll see. Punk's eyes are bugging out of his head. Seth is still there screaming, "Die, die!" And Seth gets his way. Punk dies. John Cena wins. I thought the finish of this was incredible. Great stuff.
God, Travis Scott. Jesus God almighty. This was exactly like when Hogan used to come to the ring, Dennis Rodman trailing him, and Dennis Rodman was like on another planet. He had no idea where he was at, stumbling to the ring. He had basically have to drag him down there. This Travis Scott was on another planet, dude.
Well, the first time he was on the show was on that Raw show. He was smoking a blunt in the audience.
They go from the hug to a shot of Cena's angry heel face, and they cut right to Rock on. And then he kicks him right in the balls. And the crowd freaked out. The John Cena turned heel. Hulk Hogan, he was getting booed before he turned. It was a risk, but, they were getting sick of the guy anyway. The problem with Steve Austin was he was the top babyface, and there was nobody to replace him when he turned. John Cena's been gone forever. He comes back. It's not like he was going to be the top babyface. They got 50 babyfaces. Cody's the biggest babyface they got. There's no risk whatsoever turning John Cena heel. He's 10 times more interesting now. The Cena and Cody feud is 1,000 times more interesting.
Travis hit Cody Rhodes in the face as hard as he could. I bet that sucked.
This was a big deal, and
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming.
You guys need to listen to Observer Live on Friday.
No thanks.
Because some dude called in, all bombastic and outrageous.
Do y'all think that John Cena is going to be the one that turns heel and joins The Rock as his champion?
No chance. And I shot him down. I laughed at him.
Wow.
I said it's not going to happen. John Cena's here to sell tickets and merch as a babyface for his last year. He ain't turning heel.
They need to make shirts for John Cena that just say, "Can you see me now?"
I got to apologize to old Dwayne. I thought that guy was out of his mind. He got me. It was awesome. I cannot wait to see where they go here. Back at the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom is joining us. And yes, there is no After Dark radio today. It's a replay. But, as Tom noted during the break, there is paranormal news out there. Dan Rivera, a paranormal investigator, died unexpectedly during the Annabelle the Doll tour. And I believe that old Dom brought this to my attention as well. You saw this today, Dom? It's all over the news, isn't it?
Yeah, 54-year-old.
He's here
Since
somewhere.
Dom isn't there. 54-year-old Dan Rivera.
Yes.
With the New England Paranormal group there. I mean, looks like he was in good health before this unexpected passing. So
Police.
Creepy.
found nothing unusual at the scene. I mean, aside from a guy dying,
And
nothing
a creepy
unusual
doll.
at the scene. So Annabelle the doll was a doll that was given to Ed and Lorraine Warren that was claimed to be haunted by like a 6-year-old girl. And so they put it in their little paranormal museum. And then there were like stories that, the doll had caused people to bleed and everything like that. And so they ended up going on they were taking the doll on a tour, and the doll allegedly vanished. But it turned out it was it hadn't vanished. It wasn't actually missing. It was kind of
viral marketing.
It was viral marketing, basically. The doll had escaped or whatever. But now this paranormal investigator on tour with the doll has died. So now this is everywhere. USA Today, the New York Post, the Today Show, Newsweek, E! Online. Everybody is talking about this story. But, haunted dolls. Haunted dolls, like one of those things. You probably will disagree with this, Tom, because, you're normal. But haunted dolls are one of those things where, like, I don't believe in haunted dolls at all. However, if there were a haunted doll in my presence, I would be on my best behavior. Because it's like the old saying, like, you don't believe it, but just in case. You know what I'm saying? Just in case, don't mess with those haunted dolls.
I'm certainly not going to tempt Annabelle with putting my fate in her hands, so keep me away at all costs.
All right. We had back to actual wrestling news.
Well, can I get in this story? Because this one's equally as bizarre.
What's that?
To me.
Do not talk about Connor.
No, last month, BKFC, one of my guilty pleasures, announced that they had released their bantamweight champion, and today it came out that the reason why is because, according to MMA Mania, I believe this is Alex Buchanan, according to video that was obtained, there was a verbal altercation between Alberto Blas, who was the champion, and Yoel Romero at American Top Team. This argument escalated, moved to the parking lot, where Blas allegedly attempted to strike Romero with his car. After missing him twice, he exited the vehicle, retrieved a sword from his trunk.
Excuse me, a sword?
And struck Romero twice in the arm and hand.
So he chopped him with a sword?
Correct. Romero was hospitalized. He attended all the court dates, did not testify, and Blas ultimately acquitted by a jury on all charges.
He was acquitted of sword stabbing?
Ultimately acquitted by a jury on all charges dating back
There
to
was a jury?
December 2024.
Oh, my God. When did this allegedly happen?
I believe December 2024.
Okay,
date filed 2022.
So nobody there were no witnesses, nobody had video.
Yoel Romero fought multiple times in 2022. He kept it to himself. Wow. Wild. What a story.
How about that? Don't mess with a guy with a sword. It's a more effective weapon than a car.
Well, hey, maybe Yoel had a paint pen.
So Tony Khan was on the Good Karma Wrestling podcast, and he had a couple of things to say. He was asked about Adam Cole, and he said he disagreed with Adam Cole, saying in his All-In promo that he let people down. He said if Cole could have been out there, he would have been. He made the call early Saturday after the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor show wrapped. It was a hard conversation, but he was glad Cole was honest with him. Even though we are all sad we don't get to see Adam Cole wrestle for a while. Hopefully he will be able to return in some capacity, but definitely he needs time off after talking to him. He was asked about All In. He said it was the best week ever on Amazon Prime due to a $10 Prime Video credit promotion they ran. He only has digital buys, which he said were through the roof. And he expects cable and satellite numbers to follow. I actually expect that All In did like a really good number. I think it may have even done the best number they've done all year. Because they really did do a good job building it up as like their WrestleMania. And this will be the end of this Death Riders Hangman storyline. He was asked about Michael Oku, friend of the show, Michael Oku. He was on Supercard of Honor against Hechicero. And he said, we will have Michael Oku back very soon. And then he plugged Forbidden Door in London. AEW is going to be in Glasgow, Scotland for the go-home edition of Dynamite Collision. So he might be part of that as well. And he also said that he attributed the resurgence, the creative resurgence in 2025, to taking less of a, quote, committee of play callers approach, and now he's more hands-on as a play caller. So basically, every time there's something that people like or don't like in AEW, I always say the same thing. If you like it, it's Tony. If you don't like it, it's Tony. Does a person like Mercedes have some influence, or a Moxley or a Jericho or, somebody like that? Well, yeah, of course they have some influence, but at the end of the day, if you like it, it's Tony Khan. If you don't like it, it's not Tony Khan. Now, that's not to say that he is 100% responsible for everything, because guys approach him with ideas all the time, and guys will argue his ideas, and sometimes he will say, okay, you know what? We'll do it your way. But still, that's his call. So at the end of the day, if you like something in AEW, it is Tony, and if you do not like something, it is also Tony. And then you can go into semantics from there. But that is that.
Brian, do you think that this pay-per-view broke 200,000?
I don't think so.
No?
I would bet, I think normally they're doing in like the 130 range. So I could see this one doing 155, 160, something like that. I would be surprised at 200.
I mean, All In 2024 did, a year ago, did 170,000.
Yeah, we're very different. Dude, we're still down. I mean, even though like there's been a resurgence of AEW, I mean, if you look at year over year, I mean, they're still down a lot, especially in 18 to 49, 18 to 34. So they may hit 170, 175, but I would still be very surprised by 200. I'm not going to say it's impossible, obviously, but I would be pretty surprised. Goldberg, he's got some stuff to say.
Well, we got to wait 2 weeks.
He says he will have more to say in 2 weeks. And Ariel asked if he had signed an NDA that expired in 2 weeks. And he responded, yeah, let's just say that. So what does that mean?
Did you see his comments about, obviously you did, his comment about taking the chop from Walter or Gunther?
Oh, I'm going to read some right here.
Please do.
He said he was pissed off with many aspects of his final run. He mentioned not being happy his final match was on live television rather than a PLE, where he could have more control over his time. He said ultimately to have a little more control over the time and the space would have been preferred, let's just put it that way. But to be given the opportunity on such a special show with the lineage of the show to be able to go up against the World Heavyweight Champion and Gunther again, it was an honor and a privilege to be given that opportunity. I had to make the most of it. He said, they cut me off after freaking 20 seconds with a microphone in my hand, for God's sake. I have 2 weeks where I can really spill the beans and make my feelings known about the entire rundown. From the inception of the idea to its delivery, it was a little less than to be desired, but again, not going to complain, as he's complaining, because not many people get that opportunity. He praised Gunther. He said it was awesome. I had a good time. I was laughing. I actually had fun. He said there were moments in the match where I actually enjoyed myself, and I can't say I've done that very many times. He said, I would have loved for them to announce it in January, have a build to it, do something I thought was worthy of my career. But let's just say they chose to do it with 3 weeks' notice. It's part of the meal you get dealt. I think it's more the hand you get dealt. But anyway, he says it was a shame. Let's see if he's got the thing about the chops. He did say he laughed about the chops. I think he said that he thought they would be harder, and so he laughed.
He didn't mean to. He broke character.
Yeah.
He apologized for breaking it. If you watch it, he's in character the whole time.
Yeah. You know the thing with chops, I think I talked about this here on the show, is, people are always like, oh man, I'd love to see Bryan against Gunther just getting chopped. Like it's like the worst thing that could happen to me. Or they'll go, who was it? I feel like somebody just mentioned this the other day. They were like, The one thing I just wouldn't want to take in a match is a chop. Like, chops have been built up as this thing that's like so scary and violent and dangerous and like the worst thing that can happen to you. And it's like, bro, I'd take chops like, I mean, dude, they're not that bad. I mean, Gunther's are, I think, stiffer than most, but you're just getting chopped. I mean, there's a lot I wouldn't take before I'd, say no to chops. Back in a moment, Observer Live. We did, in fact, by popular demand, watch Ready to Rumble.
The champion is some fat loser.
Yeah, he's a completely talentless, no athletic ability, can't wrestle, broke bum that walked out on his wife and kid.
But he was
he's
over.
the world champion.
He
and
was.
in the movie, the
well, yeah, but
storyline
that's
is,
a microcosm of wrestling, sadly.
Yes.
He feels so bad about drinking this entire slushy that cost $1.26, and he sticks his finger in his asshole and walks up to the clerk.
Lance is dying. How could the movie be so bad?
I'm not going to fault the man for that, of all the things in the movie.
I thought for sure you were going to say you'd done this before.
There's a reason I'm not going to fault the man for that.
I just think with all the porta potties and farting in this, that I think Vince McMahon was a secret producer on this film. Had to have been.
So then we get the Shermanator. He's playing a WCW arcade game. He uses some internet sleuthing to find the personal information of Jimmy King.
He's searching the internet. Can find out anything on here. This movie was so antiquated. Every Nitro Girl is in a Nitro Girl outfit, except for this girl. They had her
want
dance
her
in something
to stand
totally
out,
different.
Brian, like the captain.
So we're so stupid. I got it.
Captain
Yes,
Stabbing.
if you're watching this film, you're that stupid. I'm sorry.
But I was also insulted by the fact they hired Michael Buffer to announce the Royal Bash, the fake-ass Royal Bash.
$24 million budget.
Wow.
And probably $500,000 of that went to Michael Buffer. It made 12. You know, we should mention this cage match is the triple-decker Cage of Doom. Everybody buried it. It was horrible. Everybody hated it. And so they decided to make a movie. And what is the final battle? It's another goddamn triple-decker cage match. This would be like in 2010 if like TNA made a movie and the final match was a reverse battle royal.
They throw powder in someone's face, DDP's, I think, or somebody's, and the dude just looks and goes, "It doesn't work." It's like, of course, because wrestling's fake and stupid.
Should we just end it there? What a soundbite. There has never been a movie I have watched in my entire life which has made me hate myself more.
Wow.
I'm ashamed that I'm even in the place at 41 years old where I would end up reviewing this movie for money. I would have thought I would have made it out of here by now. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Well, everyone, hopefully we can do this again someday. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. My connection is a little bit weird here, so if I disappear, Tom's going to take over and talk about Jelly Roll and NXT.
Oh, God.
Hey, Dom had a good question during the break. You want to ask that question here, Dom?
All right, yeah, you talked about there's a lot of moves you wouldn't take, and chops were fine, so I'll ask both of you, was there a move that you both enjoyed taking, whether it was the setup or the process of doing it?
Tom doesn't want to answer because he's a coward.
No, I said I was going to answer.
You said you weren't going to answer.
You don't pay attention.
Okay. Well, no, because I dropped. All right, here's mine, okay? I liked any move where I could either take my own bump or there was no impact. Those are all great. Submissions, there's no submission that's a problem. Backbreaker, the old shoulder breaker, all that kind of stuff. Like, there's no impact. It's all, it's easy. The move I liked taking that involved an impact, I loved taking backdrops. But you're taking your own bump, The guy starts to lift and you push off him, and I love taking high backdrops, but I hated power bombs or Alabama slam or, moves where the other guy has to make sure that they put you down right. And if they don't, you land poorly. So those were the moves that I hated, but I didn't mind getting chopped. I didn't mind getting clobbered with a forearm in the back. I didn't mind getting, super kicked by a guy that knew what he was doing. Or
what about the old stump puller?
Actually, dude, God, you're an idiot. Hey, by the way, remember that match we had where you gave me the stump puller?
Yeah.
Okay, so not one time did I say, I'm not sure about the chops. Not one time. I didn't even question it. What I did question was when you wanted to give me that, what was it, the Hakudo driver or whatever?
I don't even remember.
That tombstone thing that you do.
Oh, a Tenzen driver?
A Tenzon driver.
Tenzon tombstone driver?
Yeah, I wasn't so sure about that one.
Easiest move you could take?
Yeah, I was not so sure about that one. But yeah, that stump puller. Guys, go back and watch when Tom puts me in the stump puller. You are the worst wrestler, dude. You sat over me and you pulled my stump for the normal stump puller. And then I guess you figured, oh, this guy seems flexible. And so you rolled all the way to your back. I'm doing the splits in this move. I'm doing the splits. You almost killed me.
This guy just accused me of being a bad pro wrestler because I gave the fans exactly what they wanted to see.
Yeah, they didn't go there to killing your opponent.
They didn't go there to see me hold your leg in a comfortable position.
I have a still frame of that.
Yank that stump right off the stump.
I have a still frame of that stump puller, and if you watched it, you'd vomit at what you did to me in that match. God.
You want to know, Dom, since you asked?
I want to know, what moves do you like?
What move do I like? Giving and taking. My favorite, the Superplex. The good old vertical style superplex. I love it. I love that feeling of floating through the air. Usually I'm wrestling people that aren't, they're professionals, so we can pull it off properly and no one's getting hurt. There's very few things I enjoy in that ring more than going up there, having the guy hook me, and then we're going to go on 3. You ready? Let's go. Never felt so alive.
It was probably 2018 or whatever. I had that match with Jungle Boy, and he wanted to do something off the top rope, and I can't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure I said, how about we do a superplex instead? So I don't know if maybe you wanted to do some tombstone or something that I wasn't sure about. So I was like, let's just do a superplex instead. So I hadn't had a lot of matches when I came back for that one. And I remember we're doing the match or whatever. And then, I climb up to the top rope and he's going to do the run up the ropes into the big superplex. And I remember I got to the top, and this dude starts, he's running at me fast to run up these ropes and super kick me. And I briefly had that thought, what did I just agree to do? It's a long way down. And, dude, he runs up, and he grabs me, and he lifts me, and I'm way up in the air, upside down, and I'm old. And I'm like, oh, my God. I'm just I was sure I was going to die. And, man, we hit that mat, and it was nothing. It was exactly like you described. It was it was so much fun to just float through the air, and then I was expecting doom, and it was boop. That was it. It was great. So, yeah, Superplex is fun, as long as you land right. Should we talk about NXT?
Hey, I enjoyed some of the stuff.
Lance is mad that I flinched when he threw a super kick at me. Well, yeah, Lance. I didn't work with Lance Storms my entire career. You know how many guys kicked me in the face on that move? Of course I'm going to flinch. All right. Yeah, this was a... there was one thing... I'll put it this way. The show was much better than last week. It wasn't the best show I've ever seen, but there was one thing on this show that everyone in the world should probably go back and watch because it was so awesome. So we got a Fatal Influence opening segment, no Blake Monroe. And Masha Slamovich comes out, and a bunch of women get in an argument and everything. It sets up a thing for the main event, 6-person for later, and it was fine. Then we had Dark State against the first half hour of the show sucked. Dark State against Trick Williams, Mike Santana, and Joe Hendry. So I don't know how long they went. It wasn't that long, but all of a sudden, Trick starts yelling at Joe and Santana, so they punch him. And then they throw Dark State, all 4 of them, into the ring in a 3-on-3 match. They suddenly realize there's 4 of us, there's 2 of us and 4 of them. But then out comes the System from TNA, and we just have a wild brawl for the DQ. And I was like, what? So that was stupid. It settled absolutely nothing, and it was a terrible finish. So then we had Kelly Armstrong, who's the Evolve Women's Champion, and Carmen Petrovich for the Evolve Women's title. I swear to God, they go 30 seconds in a title match, and Jordan Grace hits the ring and attacks Kelly for the DQ.
They may have gone a minute because Kelly Armstrong, while she was in there a very short amount of time, may have thrown the best punches I've seen in the current WWE. She rifled them off at Carmen Petrovic. I was so impressed.
Well, maybe she just punched her in the face. I mean, there's been a lot of that here in NXT of late. So then Mr. Stone, Stevie Turner came out, and Blake appeared on the big screen, and she said, next week, Jordan, you're invited to sit front row for my NXT singles debut. So that's coming up.
She said Jordan wasn't fit to hold her slippers.
Cool. What? So then we had Team Undertaker backstage, and Trick Williams shows up and trash talks him, which leads to the announcement that next week Undertaker is going to be on this show to confront Trick Williams. Okay. All right. And then we had the best thing on the show. It's Tony D, Luca Crucifino, and Stax, okay? So to build up to this match at the top of the hour, before every commercial break, they had like recaps of the storyline of Tony D's family. They did a very good job building this up. The only thing that was weird is I could have sworn Rizzo said, I'll be there next week, and she was nowhere to be seen anywhere here on this show. So I hope that's not bad news for Rizzo. But anyway, they do this match, and it's just like a 3-way. Like, it's fine. But, dude, the last minute of this match was, like, so awesome. So, you know, Tony's selling, doing whatever, and Stax is getting heat on both these geeks. And so, finally, at the end of the show, Stax goes for his crowbar. Luca stops him. He throws him outside. They're having this brawl or whatever. So, Stax gets the crowbar, and he misses a swing on Luca. So as he misses this swing, Tony D flies in out of nowhere, and he spears Stax all the way through the wall. Place goes wild. So every time Goldberg or whoever does a spear and puts somebody through a wall, they always sell it like both guys are dead. So Tony D spears this guy through the wall. The ring announcer, the announcer, like, oh my God, get somebody out here. These guys are hurt. So, like, 5 seconds passes, and all of a sudden, Stax flies out through the hole again, belly first. He's dead, and then Tony, boom, he powers his way through the wall like he's the Shockmaster, but he doesn't fall down.
He was like the Kool-Aid Man.
Dude, this place goes wild. So then the Kool-Aid Man goes over. They're already going wild. He grabs Luca, and he gives him his big choke slam finish. The whole announce table just explodes. Now the people are going wild. He grabs Stax, throws him in the ring, picks him up, boom, choke slams this guy, pins him. Whatever. I was like, oh my God, this place is going wild. Like, it was so good that I almost thought, is this guy beating Trick for the title? Because this is what you do to make a guy all of a sudden the top guy in the entire promotion. I mean, it was the best 1 minute of just rampant destruction that I have seen in forever. And he gets his pin, and this place is going wild. And he leaves, and he looks back, and he sees his hat on the ring post, but he walks away from it. So I think they're like repackaging Tony D as like just like the baddest dude in the world, because that's how he came off at the end of this segment. It was awesome.
Yeah, sad to see the family go, but what a way to go out.
I'll
talked
say.
About Tony D being we haven't seen this type of domination since Roman Reigns was stacking people and pinning them in the
when
main
he'd
event
stack
of
them like
WrestleMania.
cordwood and pin both of them at the same time. I mean, yeah, this was so perfectly done.
Yeah, I was expecting like after he hit the one on Crucifino through the table, I'm expecting like just something else to happen. And it was like, nope, this guy is putting a stamp on this. He is throwing these guys into the ocean with concrete on their feet.
Yes.
And Tony D is standing tall.
Like, if I found out tomorrow, I don't like to see one get fired, but like, if I found out that, you know, they got rid of Stax and they got rid of Luca and like their careers are done in WWE, it's like, I should have seen it coming with this finish. Golly. He just, what's the term? Bodied him.
Yeah. Murked him.
Something. Golly. Then we had some segments backstage. Ren Sinclair will be facing Blake in her debut next week in Ren's like home state. So that sucks for her. We had a Josh Briggs deal where, you know, he's turning heel, and they set up a three-way with Obafemi, Josh Briggs, and Inamura for the title, I believe, next week on television. And then the main event was Masha Slamovich, Soul, and Zarya versus Fatal Influence. And Masha ended up in the ring with JC Jane and pinned her. So this was actually what they did on the Great American Bash, except they had Mariah May, Blake Monroe. She pinned JC. And like that led, I'm still baffled as to why they did that finish, because, you know, JC retained the title the next night and Blake turned heel. So it's not even like they're setting up Blake and JC. So I presume JC is winning both titles at Slammiversary, and I don't know where we go from here with Blake, but we'll find out. So back in a moment with more Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. We all went to the AEW Wrestle Dream pay-per-view in the Tacoma Dome. What a dump.
They've remodeled in the last 5 years.
I don't want to watch a show in the Tacoma Dome. I'm over that part of my life.
So this is all about
I
you,
want
okay.
It is all about me. It's my show.
Yep.
Sick of these crappy dumps.
Rico. Yes. Rico Constantino.
Mm-hmm.
When Rico Constantino showed up on the screen, I almost fainted.
If you would have slapped me with a bass, I would have been less surprised.
A bass,
Yeah.
you say?
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Now, you mean the fish
Yes.
or like a bass, the instrument?
No, a bass.
Well, he would have said a bass if he meant a bass.
Shibata hooks a rear naked choke, and Shibata's shoulders were down, and the referee counted 3.
I don't care what happened in Florida in 1973.
That is an Eddie Graham babyface finish when he wanted a heel to get a fluke win.
The crowd hated it.
Hated it.
You know, people are upset that Adam Cole's back as a babyface or whatever.
Why?
But, dude, he's been gone for a year. So they obviously want to do Adam Cole and MJF. MJF is a heel.
Mhm.
So obviously Adam Cole is coming back as a babyface.
Yes. Will Ospreay, Takeshita, and Ricochet. My rating for this match was 1 zillion stars. I believe this may be my new favorite 3-way ever. John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson.
You have to
Not a
say it in
fun
such a
match.
sad way.
Yes! It was sad. It was a sad match.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, before we even get to the post-match. The whole thing, start to finish, was sad. It was meant to bum you, the fans, out.
It worked.
It worked. It elicited emotions, which is what art is supposed to do.
It was very much like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels when Undertaker retired him, and like that's exactly what happened, is everyone just slowly stood up and quietly, sadly walked out of the building that night.
There was one gentleman that was walking by us, and he was dripping in Bryan Danielson's merchandise. And he was wailing, and he cried, forget my language, I can't believe they punked out my favorite wrestler like a bitch. And he was so upset.
And we go into that press conference. All I got to say about Don Callis is, man, I can't help but notice he's got a big mouth when he's got Takeshita right next to him, doesn't he?
That was a scintillating question. And I think maybe after that, we're finally, the Bryan and Vinny show might actually just be the Bryan show. That was producer Rob level stuff right there. Need to work on your game a little bit. Okay, next.
Rob's so excited and happy now. He texted me today. So it looks like I'm feuding with Don Callis. Ha ha. That's what he texted me.
That's not the way I took it at all. I looked at his wiener, and now he's mad at me. Duh.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler is joining us here today. And at this point, it looks like, Tom, I will be here on Friday. It's tomorrow I may not be around.
Oh, boy.
So we'll have to make some plans, see what happens. But tonight, I will be back for Wrestling Observer Radio with Dave. We'll have a lot to talk about with this Dynamite show. And then, NXT and all of the news as well. And then Friday we'll be back for Fun Friday. So the schedule for this...
When is Collision this week, Brian?
I think Saturday.
Back to its normal time, huh?
I think so. Does anybody in the chat know when Collision is this week? It's kind of one of the problems with Collision is like they're moving it to all of these different, this channel, that channel, follow this, follow that, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's like it's good to try to find which one does the best. But also, like, if we're viewers, like, we have no idea when this show is half the time. Luckily, I have YouTube TV, and I just hit that plus button, and it records it whenever or wherever. So, yeah, that's that. And yes, there's no After Dark today, but it is there will be a replay up on Sports Byline, and we will be live for next week's show. So that's the plan. Weird week. Got to do traveling and doing my best. So there you go. Anything else, Tom? Anything you want to plug?
No. Nope. Nothing at all. Hope everybody's having a good week.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.